A very warm good morning to you and welcome back. This is Newslink right here on eNCA. Kalina Kinna Tumelo Setlolo Sama Thomas Mototwane will bring you your 10 o'clock bulletin now, starting with this, where the DA is marching to the Water and Sanitation Department today. Now, it will submit a list of demands to Minister Senzo Mchunu, and among them is that the minister takes action to fix problems at Rand Water. In recent months, the DA has persistently called for the dismissal of the utility CEO. And eNCA reporter Bafedile Moerane is there. Joining me now to give us this update. Bafedile, a very warm good morning to you, colleague. Take us through the march and what exactly is the DA tabling in the memorandum, which I understand they aim to hand over to Minister Mchunu this morning.
Well, Tumela, at this point is a hive of activities here in the city of Tshwane as members of Democratic Alliance, led by their leaders, including Solly Msimanga, among others, and also some of members of parliament are here, and they're expected to hand over a memorandum of demand to the Department of Water and Sanitation. For quite some time, we have been visiting a number of areas here in Gauteng where residents are crying foul over water crisis and having to say that it looks like the water bulk supply, Rand Water, has a problem. We have been attending a number of media briefings from Joburg Water, the city of Tshwane, and also from the Rand Water itself, where they will be giving us an update in terms of the water supply and what are the challenges. We've had in number of occasions the Joburg Water citing that Rand Water, it's failing them in terms of water supply provision. They are insufficient supply from Rand Water in particular, and something that the DA at this point is highlighting. But to get more clarity and more details as to what does their memorandum entail, I'm going to speak to Solly Msimanga at this point in time. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want you to give us a perspective in terms of your memorandum. What does it entail? What is it that you want from the Minister of Water and Sanitation?
Well, first of all, we're trying to avoid an ESCOM 2.0. We can do without electricity, but water is not one of those things that we can do without. Last year, I went and had a meeting with the CEO and the COO of Rand Water, and in there we were promised a number of things, a number of programs that will be put in place. That had failed. Recently, when we went to visit them now, they wouldn't even allow us to get into the buildings. They came up with bodyguards and all of that. So we are saying, why should we keep them in office? While residents now, as I'm talking to you, parts of Kempton Park is without water. Parts of Mkhali City now is without water. Katlehong, there's parts that is sitting without water. When you go talk to the municipality says we get throttled. And once we get throttled, it means that we are not able to then have enough water to be able to then give to the residents. In Mkhale, some parts of Krugersdorp, the same thing. You go to Fixback and you go to Oneback, you will find that if you don't get water at about 2 o'clock in the morning, during the day you're not going to get water. We have been asking for telemeters from Rand Water to then say, show us how much water you're releasing to municipalities. And we are saying to the minister, we're not saying completely this is Rand Water's problem, but Rand Water is failing to disclose how much water they're releasing to the municipalities. Municipalities, you as the minister, you're supposed to then be coordinating in order to ensure that there is a plan to deal with the infrastructure within municipalities, and so that municipalities don't lose as much water as they are losing. And then you have a long chain of people taking responsibility of what needs to be done. At this point in time, the residents are now feeling the brunt and the heat of not having water, of actually going back to having to carry water, using buckets. If you go now to area like Mabopane, certain parts of Mabopane, for 6 months now, 6 months that they haven't been having water. This is a problem, and this is what our memorandum is saying, to say, get rid of the CEO, actually get rid of what is happening now at Rand Water. Play a very, very critical role in overseeing what is happening there. But over and above that, do an overall check in terms of what is happening in the municipalities to ensure that the infrastructure that is within municipalities is adequate and can actually then improve the quality of supplying water.
Talking about the issue of infrastructure, quite interesting. One could ask, why, because you are in Tshwane, are you also not marching to the city of Tshwane or engaging them? Because also they are playing a very critical role in terms of water provision.
So you see, for me, it's not marching against a particular political party. It's marching against government that is supposed to do what to be done. Whether it is an EFF, IFP, DA, ANC government, we are saying to the minister, tell us what is the plan? What is the infrastructure master plan? We've been asking for this infrastructure master plan. What is the backlog? What is the budget? How are we then dealing with it? And we've seen that municipalities, as things stand, will not be able to then on their own deal with this issue of infrastructure. I can tell you right now, Mfuleni is losing 60% of its water. Whether it's technical losses, whether it's through theft or whatever the case may be, but they're not able to account for about 60% of the water. Therefore, they will not be able to then collect revenue. If they're not able to collect revenue, it means that they're not going to have money for them to be able to then fix that infrastructure. This is why we're saying, Minister, wake up. If you're not going to wake up and see that there is a problem that is continuing to grow here, you are going to sit with a bigger problem where all this infrastructure is going to collapse. And once that infrastructure is going to collapse, then you will find out that, you're having a bigger problem on your hands where, all of us are going to go back into the stone age of not having water coming out of tanks, but we have to then go to, rivers or whatever the case may be. But over and above that, the fact that you now have rainwater that on an ongoing basis decide when to throttle up or throttle down the water is also damaging to the infrastructure that municipalities is sitting with. Because now the pressure of old asbestos pipes that is now transporting some of the water is actually not able to then cope with the inconsistency of the pressure that is there. But lastly, when rainwater decide to throttle municipalities down, municipalities now have to spend millions on hiring tankers to be able to then get water, and obviously go to another area to get water which they're not actually metering. That means now it's double losses for municipalities, and this is something that we are going to put squarely on the hands of rainwater.
Well, thank you so much, Solly Msimanga. He is the DA leader here in Gauteng. And now having to highlight a number of things there, Tumelo, talking about the issue of infrastructure, something that we have actually been highlighting as eNCA on numerous occasions. But however, they are saying that they are going to hand over a memorandum to the minister and hoping for the better. As you see here, members of Democratic Alliance carrying placards in support of their leaders there, Tumelo. Then we are on the ground and we're hoping to keep you abreast with the latest development from the ground, Tumelo.
Well, thank you so much, Bafedile Moerane, of course, giving us the very latest out in Tshwane, where the DA marches to the Water and Sanitation Department, and we'll keep our viewers updated on the latest as we're expecting to have the DA or see them hand over that memorandum to Minister Senzo Mchunu.